The LGBTQ couples from the Wolf universe confirmed and updated. All this and more in today's video, so stay tuned as Bearnard tells you. Warning, this content may be sensitive. Discretion is advised. Happy Pride Month, my friends! One of the most beautiful months of the year has arrived. And in your day a little more today, I will tell you all about wolf love couples confirmed that are LGBTQ. Before we begin, let's remember that everything that is spoken in this video is only canon within the universe created by Riley Morningstar, that is, wolf love. The couples and orientations mentioned here do not affect the lore or the video game at all. With that being said, let's start with the couples. Brenda, Circus Baby, is bisexual, and her current partner, Roselle, considers herself androsexual. After Brenda suffers the tragedy at Baby's Pizzeria, her sexual orientation changed to one of the attraction to both sexes. So she considers herself bisexual. While Roselle was never sure of her sexuality, throughout her life she has been attracted to multiple people with multiple sexualities and orientations, which is why she considers herself androsexual. We need to also remember that when Brenda and Roselle started dating, they both no longer considered themselves step-family. Brenda did not consider Roselle her stepmother, and Roselle never considered Brenda her stepdaughter. Stacy, Toy Chica, is pansexual, and her current partner is Chica, who is demisexual. Stacy never had a problem with being attracted to any type of person, regardless of their sexuality or orientation, which is why she considers herself pansexual. While Chica, she was always considered only being physically attracted to someone who already had an affected body. In this case, Stacy. Bonnie is gay, and his current partner, Bonifacio, Toy Bonnie, is also gay. Since they met, they always had a strong bond of friendship, and after years of friendship, they finally proposed. Roland, Funtime Freddy, is pansexual, and his partner is Funtime Foxy, who is perceived as non-binary. That is, they do not identify with any of the two existing genders. This is also a reference to the FNAF Sister Location game, where we don't know exactly who Funtime Foxy's gender is. That is because they don't speak. Kind of think of it like the whole Mangle situation. Is Mangle a boy? Is Mangle a girl? Well, according to Scott Coffin, the answer is yes. Anywhoots, Roland was always a fan of love, and for him, staying with someone was fine regardless of their orientation or gender. And since Foxy was his closest friends for years, the two stayed together. Golden Freddy, or Fredbear, despite having been the most handsome bear of yesteryear, and being covered by both men and women, he was always asexual, even before and after having died and having been possessed by the crying child. Also, he never considered having a partner to be happy. As an extra fact, he can fall in love, so it's not aromantic. You'll be a little bit surprised because the marionette was always bisexual, even if she didn't seem like it or mentioned it. We are also talking in theory about Miranda, her soul that possesses her, despite the fact that she is currently a partner of Springtrap, who is straight. She was always bisexual, because in her youth she had her same-sex love affairs and even had a female slimmer as a partner, Rosia. Scrap Baby, she is a lesbian, although so to speak, she is almost an exact copy of Brenda. she has a preference only for women. It is worth mentioning that before she was Freak Show Baby, then she was Scrap Baby, and currently she is Brianna, or Glamrock Freddy for the Glamrock Freddy, or Glamrock Baby for the new ones. In every version of her, she always has been a lesbian. She recently became a couple with Vanessa. Speaking of Vanessa, she is pansexual, and as mentioned, her partner is Brianna. She is a very sentimental and loyal person to who she admires. Therefore, she tends to be attracted to whoever she considers attractive and cute, regardless of orientation or gender. Fanny is also pansexual, since if you didn't know, she turns out to be Vanessa's other personality. Although she and Vanessa are very different, they share the same sexual orientation. Foxy and Otto Wolf, the most popular characters of the entire AU. Otto Wolf was born in Rottenburg an der Tauber, Germany on March 15, 1975. At age 15, he would find out that he was gay. Of course, he hid it. At age 18, he would be hired by a fast food company and would be the main star of the place. Although only open for 1 week, Otto was the last to leave the place after practicing some piano. He heard someone break into the place and hid in the supply closet and would watch in horror as a 15-year-old boy would be murdered on the stage. He was scared out of his mind and only coming out when the murder left. He went to call 110. The place shut down due to no one wanting to come back. Otto would have severe depression and even thought about committing suicide because he felt responsible for the child's death. And he was proven to be innocent after looking at the security cameras. The murderer, however, has never been caught. He would then move to London, Ontario to live with his grandparents. And a month later, he would be hired by Henry Stillwater at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, where he would bump into Foxy, who he immediately had an attraction to. Foxy, at the age of 18, which was the time Otto, as they met, would find out he was gay as well. Although the only ones he revealed his sexuality to were Freddy's gang and his mother. Otto would be hired as Foxy's first mate. And months later, the two would confess their love for each other, and they even had their first time in the office of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. A little fun fact, Foxy and Otto are the most sexually active characters in the universe. Yes, Bearnard, that's me, and my partner Neutron are both gay men as well. When I was 13 years old, I found out that I was gay. Although I did keep it hidden because of the times back then. In 1981, when I was 16, and in my second year of high school, the feelings for men got stronger, and I declared myself as finally gay. I had a few secret male relationships, although none of them last. In 1993, I even had a little crush on Foxy, and was one time gonna ask him out. But we all know who he later asked out. And because of that, I was severely depressed, thinking that I would never find love. Until I met Neutron. The two of us would hang out almost every day after work, going for walks in the park, calling on the phone all the time, and it wasn't until one day where I said I loved him, and Neutron couldn't believe it. And of course, he accepted my proposal. A little fun fact, Neutron would later go on to own Bobby's Burgers and the Neon Teddies nightclub, which would feature the fake Freddies, aka the Neon Teddies. Cool, huh? Montgomery Gator is gay. In his early 20s he found this out, and in his late 20s he met Sebastian, who would later play Glamrock Freddy. Monty had an extreme attraction to Sebastian and was super close to asking him out, until he figured out that Wendy, which was one of his enemies, had asked him out first, which caused Monty to hate Wendy and be super jealous of Sebastian. Later down the line, Monty would become misogynistic, having hatred towards women, specifically Wendy for stealing Sebastian from him. Monty would also become jealous of Sebastian because he always got whatever he wanted. Soon it would lead to hatred. During the security breach, Monty's hate for Sebastian had grown so much that he even thought about killing Sebastian in order to take his job so that he could be famous. He would later volunteer to help Dad take over the Pizzaplex, only with one condition, that he kill Sebastian for himself. In the end, our hero saved the day and Monty was found out to be a traitor and he was fired. Not much is known about Monty now, as nobody knows where he is, and nobody cares because he's a misogynistic asshole that no one likes. We have now finished the first generation of the characters. Now let's talk about the next generation of Wolf Love, whose characters were only created by Riley Morningstar, and only for his AU. They are not canonical in the original game. Danielle, Glamrock Ballora, is Brenda and Roselle's adopted daughter. She is lesbian, and her partner Amanda, Electro Baby, is demisexual. Danielle was always attracted to girls, while Amanda was only attracted to her strongest and most enduring bond of friendship, Danielle. The two were friends for many years, but once Danielle started working as Glamrock Ballora, they became a couple. Carol, the adopted daughter of Stacy and Chica, is bisexual, and her partner Gina, Neon Gina, is demisexual. Carol received an upbringing from her two mothers which made her feel attracted to both sexes, but she fell head over heels in love with Gina when the two met. Gina only felt attraction to Carol. When they had time to know each other, they both made their relationship official. Fun fact, Carol is actually the daughter of Clara, who Stacy had a little relationship with in high school. Clara was originally going to have an abortion until Chica and Stacy, who were going to adopt a chick, found this out, and they adopted Clara's egg. Enigma is pansexual, and his partner Beanie, Neon Beanie, is a trans man. Some will remember the daughter of Marinette and Springtrap. Enigma was always a girl who was attracted to both sexes. And when she met Beanie, she was amazed. She didn't care that he was trans either. She accepted him as he was. Let's talk about a couple that contains a character that last year caused a huge controversy for Riley Morningstar. Mary Elizabeth Afton is currently a lesbian and recently became a partner with Charlotte Emily Stillwater, who was demisexual. 2 years ago, Riley made this drawing, Mary Elizabeth Afton as a lesbian, except her flag was transphobic. To this day, it is still canon that she knew said flag, because when she died, her soul gradually became corrupted. Her orientation only allowed her to be attracted to cis girls, causing her to reject trans or masculine girls. Who would have thought that after being rescued and healed by angelic Charlotte, an extremely masculine girl, they would end up being a couple and go into paradise happily. Chris, Glamrock Bonnie, is gender fluid. He is the adopted son of Bonnie and Bonnie Fahio. Over time, he changes his gender expression or gender identity, or even both. Think of it like Glenn and Glenda from the Chucky franchise. He is also straight, his partner being Glamrock Chica, which is Sydney. And finally, Foxto and Floyd. Foxto is gay. Having grown up with two very loving fathers, Foxto would come to his senses and figure out that he too was gay. He asked his parents for advice, and sure enough gave him great advice on discovering his homosexuality. Floyd is pansexual. Having worked at the Neon Teddy's nightclub, he always met different kinds of people, different genders and sexualities. Foxto would find out about the Neon Teddy's nightclub, knowing that it was a place where everyone was welcome, and also being a strip club. Foxto was bound to find a gay person there. He met Floyd there, and the two would immediately be attracted to each other. And the two would of course immediately have hanky-panky in the back of a Nissan Sentra. The two would see each other more often, and would officially declare each other a couple. That's all for today, friends. I wish you all a very, very happy Pride Month. Comment down below what kind of topics you want me to talk about. Without more to say, Bernard says goodbye.